Well past Wednesday, SDH AM. John here, you there. Thanks for dropping by, as you always do. Okay, today is probably the first example of what the show is going to be like within the World Cup itself. And it is going to be flying around, and we got a bunch of things to get into and a bunch of things to talk about. Morning, David. So here's where we are going to touch grass this morning. We got news out of the NWSL. That's going to be the breaker coming up in a bit. Opening kickoff comes from north of the border. Be careful where you shop. We're going to hear from the U.S. men's national team. Miles Robinson was in front of microphones yesterday. We'll play some of that for you. Women's national team is now in Brazil. We will hear from Emma Hayes. We will hear from Rose Lavelle. We will hear from Lindsay Heaps. Last night, you had your share of friendlies. We're going to have a little fun this morning, and we're going to balance it out with a little bit of serious. Haiti came to the Erector set last night to take on New Zealand. We'll go over all of the numbers from that. We do have highlights. Like I said, we're going to have some fun. And we're also going to remind you why tournaments like the World Cup are important to nations like Haiti. We've got that. We're going to have our Atlanta Soccer Tonight flashback from last night. Just a quick reminder about what goes on night side. Jason discusses how important dribbling is going to be in his mind in this tournament. Dylan Butler set to join us at 10 o'clock. We'll go over Major League Soccer and Bradley Carnell and firings and get caught up there as everyone is getting ready for the World Cup. The number that I want to bring in with Dylan, the 8th most players from a league in this tournament. Major League Soccer. 12th ranked league in the world, 8th in when it comes to player involvement. And at one point or another, you had 103 players, and I'll use these numbers again when Dylan comes and join us top of next hour, about where Major League Soccer is. Yes, some of them are established talents, see the Herons, but nevertheless, Major League Soccer is 8th when it comes to participation and manpower in the upcoming World Cup. So we'll address that with Dylan Butler coming up at 10 Eastern. We've got our news from overseas. We'll get into that. We'll catch up with our buddy Ben Jacobs and find out what's on his timeline. We've got gossip, rumor, and innuendo. And we've also got everything else that we would piece together on a morning like this. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. We'll look at friendlies and the whole thing. So that's kind of where we are. It's going to fly. And obviously, it's going to be longer than 2 hours, of course. You know, what else is new? Morning Alex. So we got a lot of stuff to get into from a bunch of different places, and we'll let it all roll here in just a sec. Okay, so we have to start with the surprisingest surprise of surprises, and I say that somewhat tongue firmly planted in cheek. News from the NWSL starts us here. The championship game coming up this year in the NWSL is going to be in Washington, D.C. And I know that you're paused and you're sitting there and you're going, I don't believe what you just said, John. The NWSL championship game is heading back to Washington, D.C. after a couple of years' absence. So that is, what the league, I can kind of tell you, what the league is anticipating is that you will end up with the home team perhaps participating in said event. And to kind of draw the sticks together here, we got a note yesterday from Washington Spirit making a special announcement at Audi Field Wednesday, June 3. I believe today is Wednesday, June 3. Announcement followed by a brief media availability, participating speakers from the league and local stakeholders. Then you're also going to have the NWSL CVS Youth Clinic at Audi Field. Once again, you're going to have a full afternoon. It's going to be Kim Stone. It's going to start at 2:30 this afternoon. Kim Stone, Washington Spirit CEO. Sarah Jones-Simmer, the NWSL Chief Operating Officer, and Danita Johnson, DC United's President of Business Operations. Press conference at Audi Field set for 2:30 this afternoon and should last about a half hour. But the way that it was phrased by Washington Spirit, special announcement from Audi Field on Wednesday, June 3, brief media availability, participating speakers from league and local stakeholders. Then this morning, was announced the NWSL Audi Field, home of the 2026 NWSL Championship presented by Google Pixel. I believe that's what this is here. Google Pixel. And so Google Pixel is going to be your main sponsor. Saturday, November 21st. Fifth consecutive season. The match is going to air in prime time on Big CBS, streaming on Paramount Plus. Kickoff set for 8 o'clock. Broadcast details, pre and post coverage is going to be a later date. Tickets available for purchase this summer. Jessica Berman, quote, Washington, D.C. has become one of the premier destinations for women's soccer with an incredibly engaged fan base, vibrant soccer culture, and a community that continues to champion the growth of our game as soccer captures the attention of fans across the country this year. The NWSL Championship will serve as a fitting culmination of a landmark year for our sport in the region. We look forward to working alongside Washington Spirit, DC United, CBS, and our partners to deliver an unforgettable championship week celebrating our players, clubs, and supporters, showcasing the very best of the NWSL. So Kim Stone has a quote in here. Once again, she's going to be available at 2:30 for those of you racing up to see what's going on at Audi Field. And Washington Spirit, fourth women's club in the world to average over 15,000 fans per home match across a full season. So far this year, they've sold out 3 of their first 5 for an average of 15,500 at the league break. Each of the last 2 years, Spirits earned home field advantage in the playoffs, sold out all 4 of their postseason home matches, welcoming over 77,000 fans for playoff action at Audi Field, back-to-back runs to the NWSL Championship. 8 clubs go into the postseason, beginning the weekend of November 6th through 8th. 4-letter gets 2 quarterfinals. CBS and Paramount Plus and Prime get 1. Semifinals weekend of November 13th, 15th. CBS, Paramount Plus, ESPN, ABC. Each gets 1. Multiple events. They talk about Fan Fest and all the things. So 2026 NWSL Championship presented by Google Pixel. Second time Audi Fields hosted the league title match. 2022 was the first time Portland beat Kansas City in that one. So 20,000 seat venue, and you have quotes across the board. But press conference today at 2:30 that you're going to have the NWSL Championship presented by Google Pixel on the 21st of November in Washington. So that is the news of the morning that came through in the overnight, and it's going to be reinforced by a press conference at 2:30 this afternoon. Okay, so that is your breaking news this morning to get us up and running. Now, opening kickoff presented by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Start your day with the most important stories in the game, the right way to start your morning. Black Pitch Coffee, part of the SDH community, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend, made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala, heavy-bodied, notes of walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff powered by Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Okay, show of hands. I have a question for you. Oh, that's cool. That might be even more breaking news, but that's more of a Decatur Watchfest kind of a thing. But show of hands to start things off this morning. How many of you, when you've gone to a big ticket item, have purchased something from a vendor outside, knowing that it probably wasn't 120% legit, might be a bit of a knockoff, but you wanted to take something from the experience and you wanted to have something to remember the experience by, to end a sentence and a preposition? Show of hands. I've done it. When I went to the CONCACAF Champions League match with Atlanta United and Club America at Azteca when I was walking back to the hotel. The hotel was a mile away from where I was. I went to one of the sidewalk vendors. Alex has never done it. Wow. Went to one of the sidewalk vendors. I also did it when I was at Herediano in Costa Rica. Did the same thing, kind of out the door. You know, you want to buy something on the way out the door. So I did that at Costa Rica, and I did that in Mexico. And that was where I picked up the turquoise Club America jersey that I have, which I thought was really cool and was different from all the other ones that we've seen. So I've kind of done that occasionally. You know, sometimes you're also leaving like a rock concert or something, and you'll get the guy with the T-shirts outside that are $15-20, and he's trying to sell a boatload of them. So in Canada, we actually had one of the largest, if not the largest, arrests related to fake gear. And it was big news. Big news. How big, you ask? Well, here are our friends from the CBC. The reporter you're going to hear is Greg Ross. You're also going to hear the voices of Superintendent Davis Eklund from Toronto Regional Police, David Lipkus from Lipkus Law, and store owner Rahman Rahmati from City Soccer Plus in Toronto. Here's how big a deal it was yesterday in Toronto.
This is only a small fraction of the sports merchandise police seized last week inside a Mississauga warehouse.
We seized more than 16,000 name brand fake jerseys and flags, along with 2 counterfeit FIFA World Cup trophies with an estimated street value of more than $3.5 million.
It's the largest seizure of counterfeit soccer jerseys in Canadian history. Police say the items were being shipped from overseas to a business in Mississauga called Omna Trading. 2 men associated with this company have been arrested.
Ramy Jabber, 41, of Milton, Ontario, and Waleed Sarhan, 62, of Mississauga, were arrested on a number of charges, including fraud over $5,000 and possession of property obtained by crime over $5,000.
Police were tipped off by the Lipkus law firm, which represents some of the victims of this crime. They say while the jerseys often look real, there are ways to tell the difference.
There are items that are identifiable. There are spelling mistakes on some of these tags. If you look and feel the product, it doesn't have the same quality.
According to police, in many cases, these jerseys were being sent to legitimate retailers to be sold in their stores.
Folks are walking into retail stores thinking that they're buying an authentic piece of, say, a jersey or sporting equipment. They're paying full price as they would if it was authentic, but they're getting a fake counterfeit.
It's not clear if store owners knew that the jerseys were fake. Police are still investigating. The owner of this store that specializes in soccer jerseys says having to compete against knockoffs impacts his bottom line.
We need to do way more. I know our police, they're doing a good job, but it still is not enough.
With the FIFA World Cup now only days away, police say it's not surprising to find an increase in counterfeit soccer jerseys.
We see it during major sporting events. If you think World Series and other things that are happening in the city, even concerts, you see an increase in counterfeit.
Anyone who may have unknowingly purchased a counterfeit jersey is advised to contact police. Greg Ross, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, so let's go over the numbers. Let's go over the numbers here from the arrest. Seizing over 16,000 items. Fake merch, jerseys, flags, and hats supplied to retail stores. And this is the rub in this that's different from what, you know, we're used to doing when we go to rock concerts or, you know, stadia for big ticket items, whatever. Instead of it being like the sidewalk vendor, this is in actual stores. In actual stores in Toronto, Ontario. 16,000 items. Name brands, FIFA sanctioned. Nike, Adidas, Puma. Seizure amounting to an estimated street value of just over 3.5 million Canadian. So that would be what? 30. So it's like almost 5 million US dollars. Charged with fraud over $5,000, multiple other fraud-related charges. And so the thought was is that those two gentlemen that were arrested by Toronto police had been doing this for quite some time. And so seeing a premium brand, according to David Lipkes, for a bargain basement price, premium brand. So if you end up going and like I said, this is the reminder going into the tournament. If you see something that's got a Nike or Adidas tag attached to it and it's like $30, it's probably counterfeit. Unless someone is really in with those folks and, hey, man, we've got like 19 trucks worth of stuff that we've got to get, we got to get off our hands here. So what they're encouraging, once again, and I will do the same, keep an eye on the price tags. If Nike is spelled with a Y, Adidas maybe with a U, instead of Adidas, it might be Adidus. Keep an eye on the sewing capabilities that were eschewed upon the particular piece of gear that you were hunting for. I run this as opening kickoff. I run it as our PSA. Nike with a Y might be bad. Adidas with a U, Adidus, Adidas, might be bad. Price tags that say that, yeah, for like $30, you can have this Lionel Messi with a Y, Argentina jersey. So that was the bust in Toronto. And yes, the fact that they were selling for full price as real is different. Absolutely true. So from one end of the scale, watch your price tags, watch your sewing, watch your nameplates, selling it for full price, and it's knockoff. Once again, keep an eye on both sides of the spectrum here. This is your PSA heading into the tournament for these, and you had 16,000 pieces for $5 million US over a span of time from this ring that was broken up in suburban Toronto, shipped to suburban Toronto, sent to stores in the Toronto area, sold at full price, and just like I said, watch your price tags. Be very, very cognizant. Keep your head on a swivel when it comes to the look, when it comes to what you might be shopping for. Go over it very carefully. Caveat emptor, as we said in Latin class when I was growing up. Caveat emptor, buyer beware. So be an intelligent shopper and an intelligent purchaser of the gear. Whatever experience you want to have from this World Cup, that you want to have with you to take home and what have you, just be very, very careful with how you're approaching things outside of, say, a venue or a mail order. 16,000 items, about $5 million US, broken up by Toronto and regional area and Ontario province police to the tune of $5 million US and 2 arrests. So just keep an eye on it, folks. Unknowingly purchasing counterfeit gear, just kind of keep your head on a swivel. Largest in Canadian history. $5 million US. So keep an eye on things, people. Make sure that your experience is what you want from it, but just keep your head on a swivel and be aware of anything and everything around you as you go here, since we're 8 days away from the beginning of the tournament. That's opening kickoff, brought to us by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. Once again, when it comes to Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com and the opening kickoff, starting your day with the most important stories in the game, right way to start your morning. Part of the SDH community, Black Pitch Coffee, showing up at events all over Atlanta. Try their home blend made with beans from Brazil and Guatemala. Heavy body, notes with walnut and semi-sweet chocolate, and a rich world-class finish. Opening kickoff, powered by our friends at Black Pitch Coffee and blackpitchcoffee.com. For those, once again, and I'll include this in opening kickoff, even though I've read the close. So, once again, from our friends at Decatur Watchfest, they've added Driving and Crying to the rundown. Actually, well, you know what? Tell you what. I think Kevin Kinney deserves one of these. I think he does. So, yeah, Kevin Kinney, you get this. So Driving and Crying leads the lineup of 14 additional Decatur Watchfest musical acts as they expand the concert series for the festival. We will effort next week a visit from Decatur as a city. We'll see if we can get some folks to kind of break down what Watchfest is going to be like, because, you know, there's a reason that we have this here in the office. So Driving and Crying added 34 days of music and matches, final notes on the concerts. No tickets required. It's free. They're on the newly renovated Decatur Square. Decatur Watchfest folks are recommending MARTA to get in and out of Decatur if you don't live here. So here's the 14 newly announced artists and the performance dates. This is a massive release. In addition to Big Boy on June 11, War and Treaty June 25, Indigo Girls to wrap things up on July 19th. So here's the rundown of who has been added. Casper Rouser and the 9/11 Band, COT Band, Driving and Crying on June 22nd, Broasis. Is Broasis what I think it is? Yes, it is the quintessential Oasis tribute experience. They've been around the Southeast since 2014. So Broasis is here on June 23, Andrew Holly Band, Guru Fish, Calico, the Macon Music Review, DJ Cleo, Little Hopes, Purple Madness, These Crowded Streets, the Decatur City Band, and Pushback. In addition to the acts that we were talking about, Big Boy on June 11, War and Treaty June 25, July 19th, Indigo Girls. So economic impact from the city, up to $142 million for the city of Decatur, according to an economic impact report released from the city, research conducted by Dr. Thomas Smith, professor of finance and economist with the Gozueta Business School at Emory University. So that is the new piece of news there. Driving and Crying, 14 additional acts have been added to the 3 big names that were already on the board. So 17 musical acts, part of Decatur Watchfest, and that is up and running this morning too. So congratulations to the city of Decatur. And it's going to be, it's always cool. So shoot, hang on just a second. All right. I'm going to go ahead and show you. So I'm going to break the fourth wall, play music for about 15 seconds. Okay. Full disclosure, once again, full Driving and Crying fan. So there you go. There's the lid with Driving and Crying. So I'm excited. I'm more of a deep cut guy with Driving and Crying, so we'll hang that right there and put it back when the show is over. Okay. So let's see. Let's see, David. Yes. So I should put up. Yeah. Well, Ricky. Yes. Well, what I've done also is a full. That's another part of this kind of. Like I said, this is how kind of chaotic the morning show is going to be. The new MARTA line of clothing is borderline ridiculous. And I give them full credit for putting that stuff out there, man. The new MARTA, tell you what, if they get mad, they get mad. I don't think they're going to get mad. So I'm going to go ahead and then we'll go ahead and include this in an opening kickoff. It's like I've double clutched it already. So, okay. What? Wow. What? Oh, I'm sorry. No, that's, let's see. So what happened here? Where did I go wrong? All right. So, that's what happens when you, okay. So, all right. So no, well, is that it? Not really. It's like the link that I used yesterday apparently blew up. So, All right. So, okay. So here. And where are you? Come on. Whoa. Okay. That's interesting. Huh. Interesting. All right. So unless there is something that we got to find out here, because I thought I was I thought I had done something wrong. But all right, so yesterday Marta came out with a new line of merch, and it was ridiculous. You go to the collection page now, and it's still promoted on their front page. But if you go to the soccer collection, the Marta merch store doesn't exist. So maybe we broke it from buying everything yesterday. I mean, I love the pylon signs and everything, but if you go to the Marta merch front page, you cannot click on the soccer collection. Oh, now it's up. Okay, so it was. We're sitting here and we're going, what the heck did I do? I broke it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and share their screen because it's pretty ridiculous what they've done. It is nuts. So if you thought you'd spent money one way, here's what Marta's doing now. The jerseys that they have for the 26 World Cup showcasing the Marta line are borderline insane. And you have the Marta soccer ball, Marta to soccer, the tote bags and everything. I love the Weekender tote bag. So they've got the tote bags, they've got the youth youth versions of the jerseys. I'm a fan of the mug, obviously. And so then you click on it because it doesn't exist. I guess we broke it. So, but yeah, the jerseys are nuts. And so went to them yesterday, and I'm like, we got to talk about this. So we'll see. Once again, the Summer of Soccer jerseys are out by Marta. They're pretty sick. So we have petitioned Marta and those who are in charge of the merch to come on the show to talk about it. So that stuff is pretty sick. So it's weird. You can kind of click on links and things, and then you kind of can't. So maybe we've broken it already. Smart play by Marta. Their merch is pretty sick. We've reached out to them to try and find the individual that we can talk to about said line, and we'll see what we can do here. And you ain't kidding, sister. If we can get some, if we can properly showcase said gear, then we will certainly do that here on the morning show. So that is, when I saw that yesterday, I'm like, Marta, you ain't playing fair. You are not playing fair at all, people. So lesson learned from Marta. Or shoot, you got great designers, come out with the great gear. All right. So first half hour is just kind of messing around a little bit like we always do. Okay. Let's have some fun. Last night we had a couple of friendlies. We had friendlies yesterday all around the board. Last night was a very important friendly, or a pre-tournament warm-up, however you wish to phrase it. So it was let's put it this way. It was a big honking deal. And it was in South Florida, down at the Erector Set. And it was a night for Haiti to celebrate. Haiti and New Zealand played at the Erector Set last night. The match was on Fox Deportes. And so, for those of you that were not sickos of the highest order like yours truly, we've got a little bit of the highlights for you. And as we have maintained here on the morning show, We want you to have fun in this tournament. We really do. And when you get to see things like what happened last night in South Florida, it reminds us about what's really cool about the cup that the world is chasing after. So, here are the highlights. Here's some of them about Haiti playing New Zealand at the Erector set. Once again, courtesy of our friends at Fox Deportes. Enjoy, and you'll know why we're saying we're going to have fun here with it. So just listen for a sec.
Golpe de cabeza, se quedó cortito, cerró sin embargo desde atrás. Arcos con una rapidez buscando la esférica, es Rubén Providence. La pelota la va buscando en el remate. Gol, 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 gol. Gol de Haití. Vaya locura colectiva la que produce Rubén Providence en forma espectacular. Lo pedía, lo señalábamos, es rápido, es certero, es de movimientos ágiles. Y mire usted, Mariano, Martínez Pérez por la mitad se va poco a poco, es la oportunidad, tiró. Gol, 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 gol. Gol de Haití. Gol. Joseph. Lo alcanzó a observar Joseph con el número 16. Vamos a ver. Ahora remete con una fuerza inusual. El centro, cabezazo. Gol, 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 gol. Pierrot. Gol de Haití. Gol del 20, Pierrot. Otra más. ¿Quién lo creyera? Arremeten con una fuerza espectacular en un físico extraordinario. El pase al fondo, a ver si lo entiende Lacroix. Le entregó por la mitad. El remate. Gol, 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 gol. Golazo del equipo haitiano.
Like I said, we're going to have some fun this tournament. That's from our friends at Fox Deportes. Ruben Providence in the 12th, Lenny Joseph in the 51st, Francis Pierrot in the 62nd, Duke Lacroix in the 87th. And it was a 4-0 win for Haiti over New Zealand in South Florida last night. Why is this so important? First and foremost, it was a chance for the Haitian community in South Florida to just absolutely blow the roof off of the Erector set. It was a great environment. It was a hot crowd. Literally 12th minute in, you get your first goal, and that place never stopped. They did not stop celebrating the entire time. Absolutely crazy scenes. But Haiti has not been in the World Cup in 52 years. 1974 was the last time Haiti was in the World Cup. And so it was an absolute party last night about Haiti and them getting closer and closer and closer to representing their country in the World Cup. But now here's the flip side to that. Our friend John Arnold, for those of you that may not remember, gave us a bit of a short version as to why it's so important. And this was late in the qualifying stage in CONCACAF. So you're going to hear John tell Haiti's story. You're also going to hear from Garvin Metusala from the Haitian national team at the time. So here's a reminder about why, in addition to civic pride and all of that, why something like this and why Haiti being in the World Cup is so important. Once again, courtesy of our friend John Arnold.
Qualifying for a World Cup is hard. Doing it without a single home match is harder. But that's the situation that Haiti finds itself in, joining war-torn countries like Ukraine, Palestine, Israel, Belarus, as countries that are unable to play a single World Cup qualification match at home. Haiti isn't at war, at least not with a foreign enemy, but the gang violence that has enveloped the country since 2021 has made things very difficult for all aspects of life. That includes soccer, where the Belize national team in 2021 showed up for a World Cup qualification match in the previous cycle and found their bus surrounded by gunmen. They get out of that situation safely, and actually one more World Cup qualifier was played in Haiti, but ever since then, games have had to be played at a neutral site. But that's easier said than done for Haiti because political tensions make it difficult to pop over to a place like the Dominican Republic or a place like Miami in the United States, where there would be a pro-Haitian crowd backing the national team. So Haiti has made its home in Curacao for this final round of World Cup qualification. And things actually have gone pretty well. They were able to get a draw in Costa Rica thanks to a hat trick from Duplex Nason. They survived a driving rainstorm and a power outage to get a 3-0 victory over Nicaragua in Managua. But a 3-0 loss in Honduras has Haiti up against the ropes. The good news for Haiti is these final two matches against Costa Rica and Nicaragua are at home, as much as they can find a home right now with the current situation. Wins over Costa Rica and Nicaragua in Curacao would likely be enough for Haiti to get into the playoff and continue their World Cup dream. And while the World Cup is a prize in its own right, I've spoken to several players who say they think World Cup qualification could mean even more for Haiti.
We were talking about this with some players on the team, and we actually know that this could change a lot in the country. Even if it's political, like this could bring a lot of smiles, could change like the environment of the country, to give a lot of hope to the people. Just qualifying for a World Cup would be amazing. I feel like it would change the entire country, and all the players have that in mind. And we want to do something big. We want to qualify, not just for us, but also to give back to the people.
Garvin Matusala and John Arnold. And so just to give you a bit of more of an in-depth on what John was talking about. Article that came out about the same time over at the 4-letter that he wrote back on November 13th. In March of 24, this is from the article, March of 24, Haiti's long-standing national stadium, the Stade Silvio Cator, was overtaken by gangs, with the Haitian Federation putting out a statement confirming it had lost possession of the facility and confirming acts of vandalism. No events have taken place there since then. Not clear if or when they may be able to host important matches again. So once again, this goes into what John was talking about. Without an approved venue, country's been enveloped by violence as gangs fill the power vacuum left after the 2021 assassination of President Jovenel Moise. UN High Commissioner for Human Rights called the situation an unending horror story that organizations, the July 2025 report, indicated more than 1.3 million Haitians have been displaced as 85% of Port-au-Prince is under the control of gangs. People are running away from their homes. Don Dietzen Luicius, an FC Dallas national team attacker who grew up near the Toussaint Louverture Airport in Haiti's capital. Planes landing there in November of 2024 were hit by gunfire, leading to an FAA ban on U.S. flights. Luicius still has family in the area. Quoting him back in November, quote, "They can't live well and all the places are closed because of the gangs and violence is crazy." So Curacao had become their temporary home. You have the match against Costa Rica, the Nicaragua, taking place at the Hergilio Hato Stadium in Willemstad, more than 500 miles away from Haiti. And so that is what Haiti's national team, the FHF, is part of their fabric right now. Playing for everyone back home when you don't have a home to play in. They were determined to deliver that World Cup return for the country just as much as for athletics. So when you have a moment like last night where the Haitian community in South Florida shows up, and there are, I think Diario Olay has the shot from one of the end zones at the erector set, and they do a panoramic shot. And you see the place is packed with the exception of the corners that were added in that weren't sold, I don't think. So you have probably in the neighborhood of 15,000, 16,000 people wall to wall as the FHF shuts out New Zealand 4-0. And so now New Zealand, they look at that result, and you're like, man, there's something that there's a lot of things they got to work on. But it was a great first night for Haiti as they get ready for the tournament. So just, remember that going forward when you're looking for storylines and things like that. So that's kind of what we're going to be paying attention to a lot. Like I said, we're going to be playing highlights in Spanish if we can. We're going to be, playing highlights and stories and everything when it comes to this tournament in and of itself, because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of cool stuff. And, I mean, the bicyclists that spent 10 months coming from Argentina to Kansas City. I mean, dude, going 10 months on a bicycle to go from Argentina to frickin' Kansas City, Missouri. So you can be a part of what your national team is doing. And by the way, have you seen the headquarters that has been rolled out for Argentina in Kansas City? Insane. So just keep an eye out for those cool stories. And if I miss one, let me know. Let me know about that. All right. Speaking of national teams, we're going to hear from Miles Robinson here. And obviously with the team practicing in Fayetteville down at the U.S. Soccer Arthur M. Blank National Training Center, there's going to be opportunities to catch up with folks. So yesterday it was Miles' turn to be in front of the microphones. Brendan Aronson was also a part of it, and he got to discuss how chaotic it was. He had planned his wedding for basically 2.5 years. And it was one of those things where it's like, yep, there's my wedding. Going to have to wait for the honeymoon because I'm representing my country. And so he got to talk about that yesterday. But here's a bit of Miles Robinson and what Miles got to answer about when it came to Miles being in front of the microphones down in Fayetteville. So here's part of that conversation from yesterday.
Yeah, it means the world. It's definitely like a dream come true to be in this spot. It's a lot of work and preparation has led me here, so I'm definitely grateful for every step.
How would you describe your head coach, Mauricio Pochettino?
Yeah, he's a great coach. He's definitely intense. He gives his players confidence. He, ensures that we're working hard on and off the pitch, and he brings that intensity and that courage with him in every step of the way. And I think, he's great for this group.
Earlier this year, he said, when asked about the prospects of this team and this tournament, why not us? We need to dream. Dreams inspire reality. How do you achieve that?
Yeah, just have, a sense of, strong confidence within the group, belief, that faith that, every step of the way is, leading us in the right direction. And if we do that, the sky's the limit.
Miles, you probably have the deepest connection to Atlanta of anybody here. What's it like seeing the transformation, seeing this facility here in a city? I think it was 9 years ago you were picked by Atlanta. What's it like seeing the transformation?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. This is definitely big for the city, big for Atlanta in general. So it's always great coming back to Atlanta, seeing some old, familiar faces and things like that. But it's awesome. Arthur Blank helped out to build this massive facility. It's an amazing facility, so hopefully it's kind of leads U.S. soccer in the right direction.
How do you look back on those years and how they shaped your career, winning a championship? How do you look back on all that time?
Always with a smile on my face. I'm so grateful for the years I had here, for the memories I made, for the friends and bonds that'll last a lifetime. So it's always great being back in Atlanta and seeing some loved ones.
What does it mean to you to be on this 26, to be heading to the World Cup?
Yeah, it's definitely surreal. Like I said, it's a moment I've been waiting for a long time, especially after 4 years ago not being able to play. So it's definitely something I've worked hard for my whole life pretty much. So I'm excited to be a part of this group and help push this group in the right direction.
And how do you look at the Senegal match? There's a lot of focus on the one moment with the goal. How do you look back on that match? What do you personally take away from it?
Yeah, I mean, it's a good first step getting the win. Obviously, there's some, mistakes that need to be corrected, but it's just, still a learning opportunity and an opportunity for growth. And if we continue to get better every day, I like our chances moving forward.
Miles Robinson facing the microphones down in Fayetteville yesterday. And there's going to be a standard amount of rotation of players, so we're going to get to hear from a variety of folks before they head up to Chicago. And I believe Maddie is leaving tomorrow to head north, and she will be there for the send-off match. So anticipate some reporting from Maddie when she's up there at Soldier Field, and she's going to be at the spaceship for the USMNT in Germany this weekend. So it's going to be a big weekend for SDH, big weekend for U.S. soccer, and obviously this week we're going to kind of keep an eye on everything and let you know what's going on. Speaking of, it is also a big week for the U.S. women's national team on the road in Brazil, and Emma Hayes did this on purpose. 2 games coming up in the next week, the 6th and the 9th, where they're going to be taking on Brazil in Brazil. They have landed, and so Emma Hayes was asked about the 27 World Cup being there in Brazil and the impact therein when it comes to the sport and its growth. So here's Emma Hayes in front of assembled microphones in Brazil yesterday after the women's national team landed, as they're getting ready in a couple days' time for the first of 2 matches coming up down in Brazil.
First of all, when I heard that the World Cup was in this country, my first thought was, I'm so excited for Brazil, for the whole country, for women's soccer in this country. I've coached many Brazilian players in my career, and I know the challenges for and the work that has gone into increase equity and support for all of the players of the national team. So for every little girl that watches anybody from Marta to Dudinha, they get the opportunity to see, wow, I can become this one day, and know that women's football is a multi-billion-dollar industry. It's not a charity. It's becoming a big business, and it's the fastest growing sport in the world, and the smart money is investing in women's sport. And the hope in countries like Brazil is more investment in clubs to create more professionalization, and more importantly, like, just keep girls and playing the sport for as long as possible. So I was excited for this, and I know it will have a massive, massive impact on this country, and I'm excited for that.
Courtesy of our friends at U.S. Soccer and Baritone. This is where all of our sound is coming from when it comes to the national team. So let me recap. Miles Robinson, courtesy of U.S. Soccer and Baritone. Emma Hayes, courtesy of U.S. Soccer and Baritone. And we're not done with Emma Hayes. One other soundbite as she hit the ground running in Brazil, the return of Triple Espresso, and we get to hear from them later today. We'll have that sound for you tomorrow. But what does it mean, obviously, for Emma Hayes to have Triple Espresso back as a part of this roadie? Here's her answer.
I think, first of all, if Mallory Swanson plays in the first game, it would have been 608 days between that Olympic gold medal and now. So first of all, it's amazing to have top players available for us, but also to celebrate not just their qualities as football players or as people, but to celebrate them as mums. And I know that both Sophia and Mallory are so excited to be here in that capacity. But also, if women choose to have children during their playing career, that it's important everybody normalizes what the support looks like that. Because, as I always tell people, if you have an ACL injury and a player is out for 9 months, 12 months, we manage and look after them to get them back to full health. It should be the same for women who have children. before, during, and afterwards. They need the expertise, the experience, the guidance to get them back to a good level, and then they need time to do that. So we still need to have patience with those players, but I think they are fantastic role models. Player number 18 and 19 to have children on the US women's national team. I learned that today. And that's something we are very, very proud of.
Emma Hayes in Brazil getting ready for the 2 matches for the women's national team here in the June window. Now, next up is Lindsay Heaps. Lindsay Heaps was asked about what it's like to be in Brazil, what she thinks it's going to mean for the World Cup to be there, part of this trip, the Brazil-based questions. Here's Lindsay Heaps, once again, courtesy of our friends at US Soccer and Veritone.
Yeah, this is what an incredible experience. We were just talking about this in the car on the way here. I mean, I think we know that this is a football country, and the atmosphere, the fan base, how, I don't know, this country views football is so incredible. And I think to be able to play Brazil in Brazil, get this kind of training and experience beforehand, it's so important. I think this is what you want to do before a World Cup, but also to play against such a good opponent in their homeland.
Yeah. How do you feel about the atmosphere? Do you believe that supporter fans here in Brazil are the most major challenge to the national team?
I mean, they're incredible. I think this is like, this is their baby. They love coming and watching and supporting, and I think anyone that loves football loves this kind of fan base and loves playing in that kind of atmosphere. And I think for us as an away team, it's still like one of the most special feelings when you step into a stadium and you have that kind of atmosphere, even if they're against you. I think it's really important for us to get that kind of feeling, and it's not going to be easy, but what great experience.
Lindsay Heaps, as they get ready once again for the 2 matches in Brazil. Last person you're going to hear from before the top of the hour is Rose Lavelle. And Rose Lavelle was asked about expectations and the growth of the players with the women's national team under Emma Hayes. And so here is Rose Lavelle once again in front of assembled microphones in Brazil, US Soccer, and Veritone, provided I can find the right button to push. Here we go.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think first off, we're so excited to be here. Like, what a great opportunity to be able to play such a top team, but also get to experience the away crowd, obviously. So I think this is going to be like a really, really great camp to really push us out of our comfort zone. And yeah, I think that's the goal. It's like, you know, get some experience playing in another environment that the crowd's not going to be in your favor against a really, really top team. So yeah, I think that's the goal for this week.
You're known about your creativity on the middle field. So how's Emma having, I don't know, maybe more freedom for you to play and be more creative at the field?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I have like learned and grown so much under Emma, and I think a lot of it is like, how can I best position myself off the ball to create more opportunities for myself, but like my teammates with my movement. So I think that's been like a big part of my game that she has helped me elevate. I think all of us, it's like, I think she's gotten the best out of so many of us and bringing out our strengths, but also how we're able to like work on that collectively and make sure that they are like all growing together. So yeah, I think it's been a really, really fun couple years getting to like learn and grow under her.
Rose Lavelle as they get ready for the 2 matches in Brazil. That's going to be a challenging environment, but that is what Emma Hayes wanted. She wanted to prepare this team for moments like this, especially coming up with the Women's World Cup in that country coming up next year. So this was at Sao Paulo FC. And so once again, prepping for the 2027 Women's World Cup. You're going to have also 6th-ranked Brazil's getting played Saturday, 5:30 in the afternoon, our time, at the Arena Itaquera, which is now Neoquímica. But during the World Cup, it's going to be the Arena Itaquera in Sao Paulo, 5:30 on Saturday afternoon. TBS, Max, Telemundo, Universo, and Peacock. And then on the 9th at the Arena Castelao in Fortaleza, 8:30 Eastern Time, TNT Max and Peacock. Both matches also going to be on Westwood One. And so we are set to hear from Triple Espresso today. And so we will find out what Triple Espresso have to say. And it will be, once again, more steps in the future when it comes to the USWNT. All right. It is 10 o'clock. It is a Wall Pass Wednesday. You add 1 + 1, you come up with Dylan Butler. There's your math. Dylan Butler joining us, busiest man in the Northeast. So what's on your mind, my friend?
Just wrapped up my lacrosse coverage last night, doubleheader, Nassau Championship. So, yeah, just coming off of that and getting ready to make sense of this whole World Cup thing.
Yes, that is absolutely true. And what I wanted to do with
the Knicks are playing too.
Yeah, I've heard about that. Yeah. Welcome back to the late 90s. And yeah, you know, it's I'm going to be intrigued with San Antonio and New York. My guess is, and correct me if I'm wrong, the Eastern Conference games, I have a feeling, are going to be a lot lower scoring than the Western Conference home games. I'm just saying. I think it's going to be the grinders in New York, and I think it's going to be a little bit more open in San Antonio.
I think also the ticket prices for Knicks home games,
oh God,
might be more than World Cup matches at MetLife Stadium.
Oh man. I'm just saying.
But check this out. This is really cool. Heard this yesterday, and I've been so like it's been on my brain ever since. So there's a bar on the Upper East Side. Forgot the name of the place, but
well,
this
if
is a game.
they ain't spending money on our show, you don't have to remember
it. This is a game for game one. So tonight, you go there. Let's say it's me, you, right? A couple other buddies.
Mm-hmm.
The promotion is you've got to each spend $100.
Okay.
Food, drinks. Again, it's Upper East Side. You're probably not having a hard time spending $100, right?
Yeah, really.
Now, if the Knicks win, you get $100.
Okay.
How do they do this, you say?
It's got to be a credit on your bill, isn't it?
They have a this establishment has a bet.
Okay.
I think it's like a $5,000 bet on the Knicks to win. So if the Knicks win, right, you've got the money to pay out. If the Knicks lose, everyone in the place has just spent $100 a piece ahead to watch the game and you know, and eat and drink, and that's pretty cool, huh?
Okay. Well, I figured it was going to be $100. I figured it was just going to get knocked off your bill, and that way you get your 100. But if you spend 100, you get 100 knocked off your bill. That way they're not just handing out hundies to everybody when they're leaving.
Yeah, I mean, you know, probably whatever the mechanics of it are, but you got the premise there.
Yes, I do. And so drop dime and you might get it back coming back the other side.
Yeah, or maybe then you put some money down on San Antonio.
Mm-hmm,
yeah. And you can, you will still eat for free.
Yes. And so I'm intrigued. I will let the others put the hundy down and do all of the juice boxing on it, because I don't know, to be honest, I'm so out of touch in the NBA right now. I'm just like, I've got no idea. I know that San Antonio's got another #1 draft pick, and he's doing insane things for someone who's 7'4", and the Knicks are scoring like 139 points a game, and it should be insane. And
I'm nervous again about the layoff, though.
Yeah, I mean, shoot, same thing could have been said about Carolina in the NHL coming into what happened after disposing of teams in the past, but they took care of Montreal, and Vegas took care of them last night in Carolina. It was a 5-4 final. Tomas Hertl came out of lane 8 and decided to contribute.
Yeah, I heard it. I heard that on the way back from Hofstra from my lacrosse Extravaganzas.
Yes. And so now your VGK are 3 wins away from their 3rd Stanley Cup final win in 9 years.
That's
John
crazy.
John Tortorella 20-4-1 in his first 25 matches as the new head coach, the interim who got signed, I think, to the Jose Mourinho extension, got a year and a half after. Yeah, so he's won 20 of 25 since he's walked in the door. And it's just been insane what Vegas has been able to piece together in the Stanley Cup final. Public service announcement. If you did not see the Open that was produced by ESPN where they talked to Raymond Bork, oh my God.
Okay, I'll check that out.
It is worth your time. It's 3 minutes and 40 seconds. It is their Open. And it has the Killers as the background music, but it talks about, and voiced by John Hamm, and just talks about the wait. And they go through the eyes of Raymond Bork. And Borky, I guess, is sitting in his restaurant. And he talks about each year and coming close. And it was well done. And that's their Open for the Stanley Cup final.
That was one of the more epic calls, right? Gary Thorne.
Oh, man. Literally, I remember that third period like nothing. I mean, literally, because Gary Thorne, Bill Clement, and Brian Engblom, and I made this point on the 280 character app to Mike Monaco. I said that third period, they were on. I mean, when you got a crew that is, and everybody gets credit behind the scenes, piecing it together, everybody in the truck, and you know, it's the F1 analogy. It's that, there's that one point where you're flying and you everything just kind of tunes out and you see what's going on in front of you, and you can look to the person on your right and you can look to the people all around you, and you're all in that rhythm. That game, they were great. That third period, they were outstanding. And when you look at Joe Sakic, when he gets the Stanley Cup from Gary Bettman, and Joe Sakic, you can look at him and it's like, man, can we wrap this up with the photos? And you see Sakic kind of hopping up and down a little bit. And the second that he turns and Gary Thorne goes, after 22 years, Raymond Bork, and you don't, and God, look at this. I mean, seriously. I mean, when Gary Thorne did that, all bets were off, and the three of them were on in that third period, on all the way, to the end of it through the Stanley Cup final trophy presentation. So it's amazing television. It's on YouTube. So if anybody wants to go back and watch that third period and see Raymond Bork, but anyway, Stanley Cup final, Wall Pass Wednesday. What else is new? This whole World Cup thing. I wanted to go with you over the rule changes and the additions and everything that has been inserted into the tournament by IFAB when it comes to all of the things that we're going to have to get used to looking at that we haven't until just now. And literally it's just been, and I'll go over the wording and everything, and just, it's, you can almost treat it like cliffhanger. You want to see something, you want to say something about it, stop, and then we'll talk.
Okay.
So here are the rule changes that are coming into this tournament. We'll get into like your favorites and your underdogs and everything next week, because we'll be at match day -1. I think.
Yeah, and that'll also give me a chance to dive in away from. By the way, I don't know if you did this for like the school year, but I just this morning I was like, I gotta count how many broadcasts have I done?
I need to, yeah.
94.
Nice.
And then if you add in a few like Hofstra games, so 98. So
I've got to go back and piece together everything from football season, which was 26. And then that gets me to January 1st. And then it was at least 30 in 30 dates. So that's probably a good 45 matches there. So that's probably 81, 85 gets me through soccer. You add the twos. I'm probably pushing 90.
Okay.
Jason is probably north of me. Jason and Maddie are probably north of me, but I'm probably high 80s, low 90s.
There we go.
So, all right. Rule changes.
Yes.
There have been some, and some of them make sense. And some of them you're sitting there going, it's about damn time. And, obviously they kind of want to move the game along. And it's, for the implementation of everything so you don't have moments like you've had in European competitions and all this kind of stuff. So here's what we know about what IFAB has put to the table here in this cup that the world is chasing after coming up here in 8 days. Delayed offside flag, and this is from our friend Dale Johnson at the BBC. Delayed offside flag could almost become a thing of the past after FIFA has unveiled new technology to be used at the World Cup. They're going to introduce the advanced semi-automated offside for VAR, which should make decisions faster, meaning an assistant can raise the flag rather than waiting for the play to move a play out. A real-time audio alert will be sent to the AR if a player is more than 10 centimeters offside. Previous versions tested at the Club World Cup and the Intercontinental only notified the officials if a player was greater than 50 centimeters offside. I've got to go check the metrics and then convert it to like US. The official will remain in charge of when to raise the flag and stop play. They may keep the flag down if they suspect there's been a malfunction, but FIFA says a series of fail-safe measures are in the technology to prevent errors from happening. Technology still unable to pick out the closest offside. While there are limitations if players are on the ground or if several are too close together, it can only be used for positional offside, not for subjective calls, which require interpretation. So FIFA hopes it removes some of the frustration felt by supporters, reduces the chance of injury due to needless passages of play when an offside flag is going to be raised. Huzzahs and hoorays, perhaps.
Yeah, that one caveat you put out there at the end makes me I have a little pause.
Yeah.
Of the malfunctioning, like if the lines person thinks it's there's a malfunction, so I don't even want that in their head, really.
So 10 centimeters, by the way, is the equivalent to just under 4 inches.
Okay.
3.937 inches. That is the interactive converter that we have been given from metric to standard. So
I mean, ideally, this is one of those that would
there you go
not slow down the game.
Right. So you're talking 4 inches. That looks about right there. So I think that's about right. So if we go 1, 2, 3. So you're like right here. So 3.937 inches. So 10 centimeters is what you're staring at when it comes to the automateds and making sure that everything is all copacetic there. So clear offside animations will also be enhanced. FIFA has also approved the use of technology which can determine if the ball went out of play before a goal is scored. 3D animations will be created, just like with goal line technology, which can show the exact ball position. And we can thank the chip that is going to be inside the soccer ball itself, indicating which player touched the ball last. I don't know how they do that. The chip inside the soccer ball is going to sit there and say, yeah, Argentina touched it last. I don't know how they're going to do that. Chip on the ball is going to indicate which player touched the ball last, which should enable VAR to check if a corner was the correct decision as a part of new powers. They've also expanded real-time 3D recreation. I was about to say recreation. Recreation to make line-of-sight judgments for offsides quicker and clear. 2 virtual field feeds available to VAR and television to replicate perspectives of both keepers. Several line-of-sight offside incidents this season in league to question whether keeper's view had been impacted, but you now have the chip inside the soccer ball to help out who touched it last, should enabling VAR to check if a corner was the right call. You better make sure everything's charged.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's interesting.
It sounds good, but I'm like, just make sure 3D line of sight keeper for offside. I'm cool with that. No more delayed flags. So far, so good. And then you end up also with the idea of computers. I wanted to get into this thought with you when it comes to the use of computers, because we saw on the weekend where Mauricio Pochettino, in a hydration break,
yes,
whips out the laptop.
Yep.
And everybody comes crashing over to see what's going on. It's like, okay, and literally it is like a timeout that we're seeing in basketball. I mean, literally it is, hey, let's look at this. And you see, I think that what this also is is that intern or that assistant that was acting as the lectern to hold up the laptop, that means that there's going to be an opportunity for a lectern or Home Depot or somebody to sponsor that lectern, so the intern or the assistant coach isn't having to hold up the laptop so Mauricio Pochettino can get hanging, banging, and clanging on the keypad to see what's going on.
Yeah, and obviously it became a viral moment, right? Like, insert, what they were trying to do there, find your World Cup tickets or.
Yeah, it's like it's searching for the secondary market.
Yeah.
So FIFA has confirmed coaches and backroom staff can use laptops, tablets, and other handheld devices during mandatory hydration breaks built into every World Cup match. And so now IFAB's regulations are clear. Electronic equipment is permitted for tactical and coaching purposes during matches. FIFA sources confirmed to The Athletic that those rules apply fully at the World Cup. The wrinkle is players have to stay on the field of play during the break, so they can't step into the dugout as the U.S. did in the Heat in Charlotte. But once again, there's nothing from stopping a squad from gathering at the touchline to sit there and watch video on a screen. So, Mauricio Pochettino said there's a difference between telling a player something and showing them something.
Sure.
And so now water breaks, which were introduced, now gives coaches the opportunity to sit there and work the tablet and go, hey, I have a tablet down here. At least I thought I did. What did I do with it? Oh, it's back here. So literally, it's like when we see on television where you've got the anchors with the Microsoft Touch, and they're sitting there and they're kind of going like this, and they're working their way through. And so you're going to be seeing on the touchline, I guarantee you, you're going to see Mauricio Pochettino and a couple of assistants with linked video, and they're going to be like doing this. They're going to sit there and they're going to flash this, and you're going to see all of this stuff happen, and you're going to see tablets going back and forth. I think that the coaches and the staffs that will understand the value of the tablet and sit there and they can go like this and they can do this bit, I think that's going to be a benefit to those squads that have tablets and know how to do it over the ones that don't and just try to do it old school and point and sit there and go like this and gesticulate wildly. I think that
or bring out like a whiteboard with magnetics. Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, it's the world that we live in. I mean, how many every sport you have that. Although back to John Tortorella, I remember he doesn't like those. He doesn't want his guys on the bench looking at the iPads.
Well, that's what you get the translating going for. So it's like, here, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Stuff
also seems like a great opportunity to get, like you said, some advertising. Maybe the back of that laptop, like a little sticker there, or.
Yep. Or, if you've got Microsoft that's there and you've got like we've seen, I think like on Sunday Night Football, where you've got the hand grip and you have the anchor sitting there and they're drawing with their finger from one hand and they've got the hand grip there. And it's like almost like a baseball glove. You slide your hand in there and it's the tablet and you're seeing the coaches doing all this kind of stuff. Microsoft, you've got an opportunity here, which means you also need to sponsor us because we just suggested it for you. 5-second countdowns for throw-ins and goal kicks
by the whole stadium.
And that's like, I think the center ref is going to be sitting there with hand in the air going like this. It's going to be, hey, ball's down and I'm going to count you for a goal kick, or you're on the touch line and you're sitting there. But I wonder if it's going to be like the 5 count in wrestling on a throw-in, where if you get to 4 and then you put the ball down and you wander away and the other person comes in, I wonder if that second.
Yeah, exactly. I was just literally thinking the same thing. Like you could have 5 different 4 counts, like, like that's got to eventually probably be another one. Like you can't have more than.
You can't have more than 2 dudes.
Yeah.
As a part of it. Red cards for players covering their mouths during confrontations. And that goes back to what we saw in Champions League. So you can't do this anymore. You've got to make sure that everything is here so everybody sees what you're saying the entire time. And I get that.
Yeah, but how many that's another funny thing now, right? Like with cameras everywhere,
Mhm.
you know, how many are we like seeing like on a pitcher's mound or like a meeting and we feel like, yeah, so what do you think about this one over here? You know, like,
Mhm. Mhm.
so I can't do
So
that now.
no, and so that's why you've gotta keep an eye on those going forward and you know, figure out what's going on there. Punishments for teams walking off the pitch in protest. We saw that
Yeah.
in the calf. And so now it's like you walk off and sorry, sir, that, that's not gonna work. So yeah, it is a visible 5-second countdown for throw-ins and goal kicks. If the throw-in is not taken before the countdown expires, possession's awarded to the opposition. But I still think your 4 count. I think that your 4 count, we have to keep an eye on that. Seriously. It's like dude gets to like 3 or 4, and his teammate comes in. I wonder if it's a 1 count or if it's, you know, or if he drops the ball at 4 and the ball is just there and no one's there to be the backup, then it's a turnover and it goes the other way. I'm interested to see about, because we've seen switching of personnel before, so I want to see what happens there. If a goal kick is delayed beyond the countdown, the opposing side gets a corner. That's happened before. Players being substituted will also now just have 10 seconds to leave the pitch after the substitution board has been shown and must exit using the nearest point on the boundary line. So it's no longer just, you know, taking the slow kind of one of these things, like if you're over on the far side touch and the fourth has the board up over on the other side, you can't just sit there and just do this for like 45 seconds. You got to exit right behind you. You can't just
So
take
the nearest
slow.
exit may be behind you.
Yes, that is absolutely true. So I'm for the first center ref that does this, the first center ref that does this, that would be fantastic to have cognizance of that particular thing. We saw that in MLS Next Pro, and that's to cut down on the lollygagging, because if you're lollygagging all the way to the left, you're lollygagging all the way to the right, what does that make you?
But what if you have to give away your captain's armband though?
Then it's going to have to be a chain. It's like, here, give it to him, give it to him, give it to him. Oh, you want me to work? No, I don't want you to work. Keep passing it down. One of those.
Like passing notes in class.
Yes. I mean, we saw this in MLS Next Pro. It's to prevent people from being lollygaggers. And I get that too. Once again, time wasting, especially if you've got a goal and you're up late and all those kinds of things. So no, I completely and totally understand what it looks like there. So we've got that one that's attached to it too. Also on the only allowed on the pitch at the first stoppage after a minute. So basically, you now have a minute power play. If you're not off in time, it's a minute power play for the other side. 11v10. We saw that in a match that was in a friendly, where if it's 11v10, you get a goal scored on you. That's on you. Power plays, man. We get power plays in the World Cup now. Don't be a lollygagger. I think that's the key rule here. Don't be a lollygagger. Outfield players who receive treatment from medical staff on the pitch now required to remain off the field for at least a minute. Exceptions apply in cases involving keeper injuries, collisions, head injuries, concussion situations where the injured player is due to take a penalty. Mandatory 3-minute hydration break. I don't think I've ever asked you about the mandatory 3-minute hydration break in each half. Refs given flexibility over stoppage when stoppage takes place, depending on injuries or flow. What did you think when they mentioned this 3-minute hydration break when it first came on the board? What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's a World Cup being played in the summer, right here. So totally get it, and also you want it to be fair across the board. So maybe even if you're indoors, at Atlanta Stadium, you don't want to change the rules just because of that. So I like those ideas, and every friendly that has led up to it has had that as well. So just to get, I think, teams into that rhythm.
Yep. And then
But to your point too, it leads to a timeout, basically. So.
Well, yeah, and then it also, for those of us who are cynics who worked in television, it gives the host network an opportunity to go double box and run commercials at the same time that you could be doing analysis. So it gives you something else to sell, considering how much money you've dropped to be able to present this tournament in the first place. Because
listen, it beats the heck out of my first World Cup experience of watching 1990 on was it on TBS
TNT.
or
It was on TNT, yeah. I think.
TNT where
Mick Luckhurst and Roger Twibel, baby. Bob Neal.
they were like, "We'll be right back," and then there's commercials,
Oh.
and then they came back and like Italy had scored a goal. Like,
Oh.
you come back to just a stadium roaring. Like, what happened? What did we miss here?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was Bob Neal and Mick Luckhurst. I think Brad Nessler was a part of that crew in 1990 on TNT, and so no, it was that. Yeah, now that you reminded me of the commercial breaks, I was like, oh my gosh, that's right. They ducked out for commercials.
Yeah, not on this. So I got so frustrated. I just started watching the Spanish broadcasts.
Yeah, I mean, I did too, and that was my first Spanish broadcast was '86, and for me, it was I want to say it was Televisa, Telemundo, and it was Tony Tirado, and his toss to break. I always remember. It's a Copa del Mundo Mexico 86. That was my first exposure into, and then there was the 1 year where the Spanish rights holder had a puppet that was part of the broadcast team, and it was Pepe Lacroix, and he was, and you could not do this today. The puppet was the host of a game show, and they brought him in as part of the in-between broadcasts, the studio shows, and the puppet was a ladies' man.
Oh boy.
And he made sure to let everybody know about it each and every time. And they had him as a part of the broadcast, and you could not do that today. And so that's your Google search for today, kids. Pepe Lacroix and the World Cup broadcast. No more tactical timeouts where, like late in a match, or, if you're up 1-0 and it's like in the 35th or something and you want to try to get to the half. They were trying to come up with a solution, and they were trying to have it ready for the World Cup. And so referees are going to be proactive in the case of teams trying to take advantage of injuries. They're not going to allow teams, with the keeper lying on the ground injured. The keeper has the right to be injured, but the players do not have the right to leave the field of play to have some sort of timeout with their respective coaches. I'm afraid we didn't get a shared solution on sanctions, a solution agreed by everybody for this season. IFAB didn't take any decision. We told them, be aware that we know. So what we can avoid is having all the players off the field of play. There are captains, coaches, and refs ready to face something like this if it does happen. So you can't have teams taking advantage of the tactical timeout and everybody, keepers getting treated. So it's like the keeper, the physio, and the ref, and the players wander over for a de facto timeout. They're not going to allow that. You got to stay on the field of play, and you can't be on the touchline getting any kind of instruction. So you've got that to keep an eye on too. So you're not allowed to walk off in protest. 5-second countdowns, all the red cards for covering your mouths in confrontations, and the 10-second subs, expanded powers for VAR, all these things. So
I'm most excited about the 5-second countdown.
Yeah. So you want to see this is what you want to see, right? You want to see hands in the air and turnovers.
Yeah, I mean, but like to your point, it's gonna turn into old school wrestling where it's a chokehold. Hang on, we're giving you a count, and then you release, and then you choke again.
It's like if you bring the hand up one, hand goes down. Hand up,
yeah, old school
twice,
Hogan.
hand goes down, and then they start hulking up after the second one goes down, and everybody's ready for all of this. So just VAR broadened once again. You can interview a VAR incorrectly awarded corners. VAR can also intervene when a foul is committed before play restarts, because they wanted to stop all like the grappling on set pieces and corners and such, where we know it happens because you see it. Players will either flop or they'll get fouled or whatever. So VAR can now intervene on the grappling and the grabbing that goes on, the jostling before a corner is introduced. So VAR will recommend an on-field review, following which, if the ref determines an offense occurred before the ball was in play, the appropriate disciplinary action will be taken and the corner kick or free kick will be retaken. So basically, if you foul and the corner hasn't been taken, So then they wipe the corner off the board, and it ends up as a free kick from the spot from the foul, and so on and so forth. So you can't do that anymore either. So they're going to keep an eye on you. And VAR also can take a look at second yellows versus reds. So that Bart was on here on Monday, and that was one for him he was kind of sitting there going, whoa, wait a minute,
Yeah, that's expanded now.
Yeah. So he got the people's eyebrow raised on that one about looking at reds and second yellows. So that one was definitely one that he was keeping an eye on going forward. Most of these make sense. When it comes to VAR and protest and everything, I worry that you're going to have a VAR moment where you're going to be looking at one of those red second yellow situations. I think that you're probably going to have that happening. I think that that you're going to have the time wasting. The time wasting for me, I think, is going to be one where that one you're going to have to almost have empirical research about time wasting and how it's implemented and which match you're going to have your first key time wasting moment happen and to whom. I'm interested to find out which center ref is going to do the time wasting thing on a goal kick, and then he's going to award a corner at a key moment. I want to know how deep in the tournament that's going to be when that first time happens, if it happens in the group stage or not, and if it happens in the knockouts and how impactful that's going to be.
I think you'll probably see it.
That one for me.
Tight to the vest early to be like, hey, listen, we're not messing around. Here's what we're going to do. And then the players in the teams have a better appreciation for what that would be like.
VAR can intervene over wrongly awarded second yellows, but not to encourage the awarding of a second yellow that would lead to a red. So that's the key wording there. So that's wrongly awarded second yellows. So they're looking at a red, and they're seeing, okay, no. Then if it's a second yellow, then you're rescinding it and you're keeping the person in the match as opposed to giving them that second yellow, which would create a man advantage. So that's
right.
That for me is kind of that's where we are. Now that you don't have lacrosse, do you actually get a chance to catch your breath a little bit?
A little bit, yeah. There's one more, like a showcase event late June, but yeah, I could do that, and I'm on for Friday night, Canada, Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Ireland's closest we're going to be to the World Cup.
Yep.
And then the U.S. match on Saturday, I'll be on as well for that.
Okay, so you'll be on the desk, and Maddie will be at Soldier Field.
Nice.
So very, very cool. Yeah, she is using it as an opportunity to catch her breath, catch up with friends, and hey, oh, by the way, I'm going to go cover a soccer match before the tournament begins.
Best way to do it.
None of us get any rest until like late July, and then it all starts all over again with the Leagues Cup and back at it with Major League Soccer. I cannot thank you enough for dropping by and letting everybody know what's going on at Dylan_Butler on all of the social medias. What do you have the rest of the day? Are you picking somebody up or is school out?
No, we still have school. Have school.
Okay.
No, just MLS shifting till the early afternoon, and then I could be dad the rest of the day. So
nice. When you come back, it'll be MD -1, and we'll look at the entire tournament, and we'll do we'll get all of your crystal ball stuff, and we'll put it in the hermetically sealed envelope, or we'll put it in a bottle, and we'll launch it into the Hudson. We'll see who gets it.
There's a lot of things in the Hudson, so I'm not sure.
It won't move.
Or the East River,
you throw it in the East River. You throw the bottle in the East River. It's like, yeah, and then you come back when the tournament's over. Damn, it didn't move.
It's not the only bottle in the East River.
You ain't kidding, brother. As always, my friend, great to see you. We'll see you next week.
All right, buddy. Cheers.
There he goes. Oh, he's a dad today.
I am.
Morning beverage. Dylan Butler. It's always great to catch up with Dylan, find out what's going on from an MLS perspective, from his soccer perspective, and find out. He is put up with our wall pass Wednesdayness like nobody's business. That's why we'll talk to the Knicks. We'll talk about the Stanley Cup. We'll talk about all the other things going on. And then we'll talk about what's going on when it comes to the world of soccer. Last half hour and then some. So in the last half hour, here's what we have on the table. It's a bit of an AST flashback for you. And I just legitimately was like, you know what we ought to do? We ought to find ways to completely and totally cross promote and let everybody know what's going on night side when it comes to anything and everything that we are going to be doing here over the next 2 months, basically. So we're kicking things off as we always do. Then night side, it's an opportunity for Jason to rock and roll on Atlanta Soccer Tonight and Stoppage Time. That is on 92.9 The Game, the Odyssey app, 929thegame.com, 929's YouTube channel, and all of the different places. So it's an opportunity for us to kind of start your day and look at what you might have missed leading into today. Because, you know, some folks, because of work, they might go to bed early and things. And so it's an opportunity for us to kick off the day, get you ready for it, and then Jason will come on with AST on all of those different platforms. And this year it's a 3-dimensional approach where they're going to be on the 92.9 The Game YouTube channel the entire time. And they're going to be on 92.9 The Game, live audio, YouTube the entire time, and then Odyssey app, and then shifting over and being in all these places. So last night on Atlanta Soccer Tonight, because, I would think it was on the Atlanta Soccer Tonight section, because the first half is AST, and then when it transfers over to the YouTube fully, it turns into Stoppage Time. And Jason had a discussion early on in AST about one of the more important aspects of what he thinks is going to be important to look at in the tournament. So this is from last night's AST as something to keep an eye on. Here's Jason last night, 92.9 The Game, the Odyssey app.
There's 48 teams in this tournament for the first time ever. You're going to have some teams that struggle to keep up. That's real. That's part of the growing pains. We saw it at the Women's World Cup when it expanded. You'll have some mismatches. Typically, teams that are on the bottom end of that mismatch are going to sit back and defend. I think with the weather conditions are going to affect this too. You're going to see some teams that get tired. You're going to see some teams that say, you know what, we're going to have to be careful here. You're going to see some low blocks defensively in this tournament. How do you break open a low block? We've talked about this a lot with Atlanta United this season. You have to be a threat in the attacking third. Some teams will have that, and maybe they don't have great dribblers. I think of a team like Norway, maybe. You've got Erling Haaland. He's going to create space for others because defenders are going to collapse on him. But when teams sit back deep and they don't give you space, you're going to have to manufacture it. You can do that with movement. You can do that with good passing. I think dribbling is the most effective way to break teams open that sit back deep. I really do. You look at Barcelona in their heyday, the magical run of Barcelona from 2008 to 2012 under Pep Guardiola, Lionel Messi coming into his own. That team became very based on Lionel Messi opening the game up. How does Leo open the game up? On the dribble. He's one of the best dribblers of all time. It's not a whole bunch of fancy moves. I think at times when we think dribbling, it's, ooh, step over. Ooh, this fancy move that you saw on YouTube. That stuff doesn't always help you in a match. It's about how you create with the ball at your feet the ability to beat the defender in front of you and eliminate them, get past them. They're behind you. They can't hurt you anymore. They're behind you. You're ahead of them. You're going to goal. How do you do that? Kobe Jones was one of the great dribblers for the U.S. men's national team, and it wasn't a whole bunch of fancy moves. Kobe was fast. Kobe would literally draw the defender in, push the ball past them, and run by them. It wasn't fancy. It was effective. You're going to have some players who do that. You have some speed merchants in this tournament. Now, you need to find the space for that speed to be effective. That means you're going to have to do that maybe a little bit further away. You're going to have to kind of create more of an ISO situation. There will be ways for those players to be effective.
That's Jason from Atlanta Soccer Tonight. And just to give you an idea about the traffic today, when we wrap up here after 11:05, then tonight, Wednesday, 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app and the 92.9 YouTube page. Once again, YouTube for the entire run, 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app, back live tonight. And you can always catch episodes of AST wherever you catch your content. There's an embed that we have given you at the bottom of Morning Espresso. And if you have not subscribed to the Morning Espresso newsletter, thanks to our friends at Oglethorpe University for being great partners with us there. And it gives you Jason's thoughts on what you might have missed in word form. There's some ranting in there and all of the bullet points and headlines and stuff to keep an eye on and where to catch all of our content. Go to soccerdownhere.net, subscribe to the Morning Espresso newsletter, and then you get all the intel and you can kind of keep track of everything. But what we would ask initially, set your notifications on everything Soccer Down Here, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Blue Sky, podcatchers, all of that. So that way you're kept up to date. Make sure you're following all of us at SDH, whether it's me or Jason or Maddie or Sophia or Vanessa or Nick or Jarrett, whomever. Set your notifications there. So that way you know who's going to be where doing what. So this is your internal promo about keeping track of everything in a very, very busy time over the next 2 months and then beyond. Obviously, we're not just going to crash. Well, we'll probably crash for a day or two, but stop. And then the world's not going to stop after the World Cup final. We're going to keep going because we got to get back into Major League Soccer and everything else from there. So tonight, Atlanta Soccer Tonight live, 92.9 The Game, Odyssey app, 92.9 YouTube page, starting at 10 o'clock. So starts there and then drifts over fully to the YouTube channel at 92.9 The Game, but starts tonight, YouTube channel all the way through, 92.9 The Game and Odyssey app from 10 o'clock, and then just you can watch or listen on YouTube and however you consume YouTube the entire time, 92.9 The Game. And we'll have excerpts from Jason on AST here in the mornings, just to kind of catch you up on something that you might have missed. Might have been a rant, might have been a piece of thought that he has going forward. So keep an eye on that. Set your notifications. Just be ready for everything. And so tomorrow, once again, the Power Hour is going to be with us. It's going to be Nino and Nico in the 10 o'clock hour, getting you ready once again for World Cup. We got to talk about Libertadores and Sudamericana. Boca Juniors fired their head coach. We'll get into that with Nino in the first half hour tomorrow. 9 o'clock hour is wide open. We'll talk about everything that happens today, tomorrow. Then we'll have Nino and Nico getting you ready for everything in their minds. Once again, we'll be at T-minus 7 days, week away from match number one, match day one, and we're off and running. So then we'll try and catch up with our friends at Beyond Goals Mentoring and Apple TV on Friday as a part of all of our other content and so we're still going to have our favorite pundits and guests and things in their normal time slots, but we're going to be dancing around, giving you everything that's going on in the World Cup. We'll have some guests visit, that kind of stuff. And so just be forewarned, it's going to be same guests and pundits, but we're going to be kind of drifting in and out of highlights and posts and newsmakers and storylines and things like that. So this is probably the first day where we're kind of bouncing around and trying to go at light speed, covering as much as we can in the window here on SDH AM. So we thank you for your patience and your forbearance here as we go forward. Just to give you an idea on headlines, Andoni Iraola set to take over at Liverpool. Looks like they've agreed to terms. Marco Silva is leaving Fulham. He is heading to Benfica. We'll probably talk to Nino about that as well. Konate set to join on a free from Real Madrid. Milan, their coaching search is narrowed. Oliver Glasner remains the leading candidate for AC Milan. Gazzetta reports that Pochettino has an agreement in principle with Milan with over a €5 million per year deal. La Liga set an all-time attendance record, 4.2% increase at just under 11.7 million folks. So that is part of the things that we know. Also, MLS is sending a record 44 players to the World Cup. You are the 8th highest league in the planet, sending 44 players, specifically who play for you now, into the World Cup rosters. And 103 players that are on all the 48 active rosters have spent time in Major League Soccer at one time or another. The 44 current plus the 59 others that are playing for other clubs around the planet. So keep an eye out for that. If you missed it, Cabo Verde arrived in Boston, and they took another 2-hour hop flight to Connecticut. So they are now here. DR Congo had a friendly canceled at La Linea de la Concepcion with Chile, citing the Ebola outbreak in the Congo. The Congolese Federation said it was in full compliance with protocols, working to find a solution. And Congo now plays Denmark in Liège on Wednesday, and they begin World Cup play against Portugal on the 17th. So let's see. What else are we missing here? Uruguay sweating over Georgian de Arrasqueta. Calf injury Tuesday, coming back from collarbone surgery. And the AUF president expressed confidence he'd be fit, but no tests back yet. Carlo Ancelotti talking about Neymar, confirmed that the striker's progressing, could be available for the second group match against Haiti. Brazil is not especially reliant on him at this point. Ancelotti has got a squad deep enough in attacking talent that Neymar is part of the story. It's not a part of the breakdown in the starting 11. So keep an eye on Neymar and Brazil going forward. So, like I said, we got a lot of friendlies that are going on today, and we'll let you know who those are right now. What to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it, brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, ftz.co/soccer down here. That link is important. How important, you ask? Well, it helps them out, it helps us out, and it helps you out when it comes to all of your streaming desires and it comes to the South American continent. It gives you a lot of the A and B divisions from a lot of different nations. Liga 1 Max Pro out of Peru, TEC out of Argentina. Their coverage of the World Cup has been crazy. They're going to be following Argentina around, obviously. They've made themselves at home in Kansas City. And much to Alex's point earlier on in the Twitch pitch, didn't quite hit him. He says, Alex, couldn't for the life of me understand why Argentina picked Kansas City as their home base until it hit him. The meat. Yeah, man. For me, and I told Alex this also for those of you reading the Twitch pitch, I said, it's going to be an interesting case. Can supply keep up with demand in Kansas City? And introducing Argentine fans to Kansas City steaks and barbecue. That will be part of the Palace intrigue for me, by the way. And thank you, OG, for letting us know about the Haitian community here. I know they're going to be absolutely bananas of the entire thing. So it's going to be fun to see how all of this goes through. So let's see. We have reached out, and I have Ricky to our Marta merch search. We are now going back and forth with Marta and the designer. So we're hoping to have their designer here in short order, talking about how they came up with the sick gear. Just thought we should, as a public service, to discuss said gear and knowing full well that it's going to burn a hole in my pocket. So, all right. Also on the board, we mentioned FIFA upgrading the offside technology with the ball tracking. So semi-automated offside detection, real-time audio alert, 10 centimeters. So it's like 3.9 inches as opposed to 50, which is like 16 inches. Or wait, 20, because if 10 is 4, then 50 is 20. So final decision remains with the AR. FIFA insisting multiple fail-safes are built in. Limitations remain that the technology still cannot resolve tightest offside struggles when you're grounded or clustered, not applicable to subjective calls involving interference. So they have also confirmed lifelike AI-enabled 3D avatars for every player at the tournament. All 1,248 players are undergoing a 1-second scan during their pre-tournament photo shoot, generating the data needed for clear, more accurate offside animations. Ball tracking technology has expanded. A 3D goal line animation is going to determine, we talked about that with Villa and Brentford. That goes back to February. Chip is embedded in the ball. I'd love to know how they think they're going to figure out the last player to touch. They're going to go with boots, but what if boots are the same or if you changed? Just asking. Real-time 3D recreation extended to address line-of-sight offside calls, virtual feeds, replicating both keeper perspective, available to VAR and TV viewers. So that is from Nick Webster at Inside World Football. So let's see if there's anything else that is on the board. So the squads have all been announced. That's all been listed. They're all on FIFA's website. All the players have been named. Turkish FA has agreed to a Google Gemini AI partnership. And Harry Kane has met his waxwork at Madame Tussauds. That's kind of scary. So I don't know if I could ever, if anyone ever wanted to, like, hey, Nelson, we're going to do like a wax figure of you. First off, I'd go, well, why? And then if it would be lifelike or just, resemble it. If it's like mannequin, where it kind of looked like Kim Cattrall, or when it looks like it does in Madame Tussauds, where it's like sometimes it does and then sometimes it doesn't. So we'll see. Also, we do have a quick piece of news also from New Stadium. The Campeones Cup is going to be there at New Stadium in Miami, September 16. Annual clash between reigning MLS and Liga MX champions. That is going to be September 16, Wednesday night at New Stadium in Miami. Inter Miami's opponent's going to be known July 25th when Toluca take on Cruz Azul in the Campeón de Campeones as your lead-in. So last time out at Dignity Health Sports Park, Toluca beat LAG 3-2. So Messi and friends await the winner of Toluca and Cruz Azul July 25th, and then they're going to play in September at New Stadium to let you know who is going to be taking over there. Let me see. Also on the board, wait a second here. Hang on. It's like I thought I saw something in like emails and things, and not there. Okay. All right. So what we have left on the board is what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it. Once again, brought to us by our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. You get all the be-ins. You get everything involving the African continent. Right now, they have the U17s going on. They had a match go to penalties last night. Yes, I did have it on a monitor. So you get all of the AFCON championships, qualifiers, all of that. You get CAF Champions League, and you get all of the tournaments from Middle East and North Africa that are attached to AFCON. That's going to be there. In season, French League, Polish League, Turkish League, and you also get linked into CATV and Tigo Sports, Copa Argentina on TIC, plus their coverage. You get CDO out of Chile, TVV out of Venezuela if you want to add it. You can also watch it on local cable if you have the package to watch the Spanish-speaking networks. I've got it, so I've got TVV. I can sit here and turn to my left and watch it if I want. All that is on Fanatis, and you also get opportunity to watch pay-per-views involving Colombia. They have that up and running this time around at fntz.co/soccer down here. So what to watch today? Let's get you into what to watch today. On the plus, you have 3 matchups in USL League O&E: Greenville, Ford, Madison, Naples, and Charlotte, Corpus Christi, and Portland. 2 at 7:30, 1 at 8:30, and then the international friendly, the Netherlands and Algeria, is at 2:45. So that's so you got League O&E, and then you have Netherlands and Algeria on Fox Soccer Plus at 2:45. So the World Cup tune-ups today, you have Turkey, North Macedonia, time to be determined. Norway and Sweden is at 1 o'clock. That's 2 days ago. Sorry. Never mind. It is Denmark and DR Congo in Liège, Netherlands and Algeria at 2:45 in Rotterdam, Panama and Dominican Republic at 8:45 in Panama City, South Korea and El Salvador tonight at 9 o'clock in Provo, Utah. That is one of my favorite words, to go with Marvin and Velma, Provo. So you're going to have the South Korea-El Salvador match at BYU at 9 o'clock tonight, and we are efforting Landon Southwick, our friend from Salt Lake City. He's going to be on the call for this match along with Greg Wrubell, and it's going to be on BYU TV tonight. So if you've got BYU TV on your cable, you should be able to watch South Korea and El Salvador at 9 o'clock, and we're efforting Landon for tomorrow, see if we can get him either at 11:05, or if he's really up at 9:30, we'll catch him in either one of those two slots. So we'll see if we can catch up with Landon Southwick, who's on the call tonight for BYU TV, South Korea, and El Salvador at 9 o'clock. So that's what to watch, where to watch it, how to watch it from our friends at Fanatis, fntz.co/soccer down here. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo. Got to get into that. So if you hit soccer, then that's what you can happen. So Manchester United have reached a deal to sign Ederson. That is on the books, apparently. Atalanta have accepted, according to Rob Dawson at the four-letter, an initial $47 million fee with another £4 million in performance-related add-ons for the 26-year-old, set to sign a contract until 2030 with the option of another year. United's first signing of the summer, first since Michael Carrick's appointment as permanent head coach. Now, the Brazilian has made 180 appearances in 4 years at Atalanta, 3 caps. Deal's wrapped up after he completes the medical. Deal is agreed. Now United are set to step up their interest in West Ham midfielder Matheus Fernandes. So we'll keep an eye on that. We mentioned Andoni Iraola getting close to signing his deal at Liverpool. And you have Florentino Perez, if he wins election, is vowing to confirm a big signing. Rasmus Højlund sealed his permanent move to Napoli for Manchester United. They met the numbers. Diego Koken is leaving Barcelona on loan. Sources telling ESPN Danish side Lyngby Bold Club leading the race to sign the American, highly rated at Barca, but they've decided his next step in development needs to be and go and play regular football elsewhere. So Diego Koken is out of Barca's roster, and so he's going to be loaning himself. He's going to be loaned in another location. World Cup betting numbers, according to David Purdom and Doug Greenberg at the four-letter. Betting industry analysts estimate $2.9 billion with a B, so 2.9 double extra large, is going to be bet on the World Cup at U.S. sports books, more than double the amount wagered on the 22 tournament. They figure that could spike with a deep run, obviously, with a deep run by the United States. NCAA basketball tournament expected to exceed $3 billion, $1.7 billion approximately wagered on Super Bowl 60 between New England and Seattle, according to gambling industry reporter Chris Altruda, who used state revenue reports to form the estimate. Eilers and Krashik Gaming said that if Team USA exceeds expectations, World Cup handle could reach $4.4 billion with a B dollars at American sportsbooks, which would surpass the 2026 tournament. Even with an early exit, U.S. sportsbooks expecting the World Cup to be a boon for summer business. So last June and July, $1.7 billion bet on all of soccer with U.S. sportsbooks, according to H2 Gambling Capital, a London-based consultancy. H2 guesstimates $60 billion will be bet on the World Cup at regulated sportsbooks across the globe, a 71% increase from the company's estimate for the 22 tournament. And obviously that reflects the number of teams increasing from 32 to 48. Now, gossip, rumor, and innuendo as a part of what else is on the board, if I can find it here once again. So we mentioned the Premier League latest. Here we go. Okay. So your rumor stuff. Bayern Munich and Arsenal keeping tabs on Eintracht Frankfurt fullback Nathaniel Brown, according to The Athletic. Part of Nagelsmann's squad for the World Cup, expected to attract significant interest during the transfer window, especially if he impresses in tournament. Bayern keen to strengthen their options at fullback. Arsenal view him as a versatile addition to their squad. Liverpool, once again, we mentioned monitoring Matheus Fernandes. You ain't the only one, according to Team Talk. We mentioned Manchester United, who want to bolster their midfield after agreeing to the deal with Ederson that we talked about 2 minutes ago. Hammer's expected to consider offers for Fernandes following their relegation, but they want around £80 million. pounds. Manchester United scouted Juve defender Pierre Kalulu amid his reluctance to sign a new deal at the Serie A club, according to Corriere dello Sport. Moved to Juve in 25 after 5 years at AC Milan, impressed United with his leadership and ability to play right or center back. Spurs have also been linked with the France international. Juve would reportedly listen to offers of around €45 million. Chelsea considering a move for Juve fullback Andrea Cambiaso as they prepare for the possibility of Cucurella leaving Stamford Bridge, according to Gazzetta. Attracted interest from Manchester City previously. Juve could now be open to letting him go following their failure to qualify for Champions League. Chelsea view the international as a potential replacement should Cucurella depart. Serie A club reportedly seeking a fee of around €50 million. Junior Krupi's preferred destination's PSG if he leaves Bournemouth this summer, according to Foot Mercato. Bournemouth value Krupi's transfer around the €100 million mark. Wow. €100 million after his debut in the Premier League where he scored 13 goals. I did not have him on fantasy. That was an oversight by me. PSG gets strong competition in the race for his signature. Several European giants, including Arsenal, are watching him as well. Manchester United, once again, we talked about Ederson. We talked about Andoni Iraola. And we talked about Konate. England defender Niam Charles likely to leave Chelsea this summer, according to the four-letter. Left back moving closer to a departure after Chelsea signed former Arsenal left back Katie McCabe. Obviously, that is, of course, it is on the WSL side. Sheffield United are in talks with Manchester City about the permanent signing of Calvin Phillips, who made 3 appearances on loan at Bramall Lane in the second half of last year. And also, Aston Villa determined to keep Morgan Rogers despite growing interest from Arsenal. It's from the Telegraph. Elche forward Alvaro Rodriguez is on the radar of several Premier League sides heading into the summer transfer window. Bournemouth and Hull among his suitors, according to Matteo Moretto. Fabrizio Romano, Bayern Munich pushing closer to a deal for PSV's Moroccan midfielder Ismail Saibari before the World Cup starts. Personal terms have already been agreed between player and club, according to Fabrizio Romano. AS. Real Madrid are not considering bringing Victor Munoz back to the club this summer. Madrid have a 3-year option to bring back the winger who's been called up by Spain for the World Cup, not planning to exercise it yet. Fabrizio Romano again. Internazionale accelerating their efforts to sign Cagliari right back Marco Palestra, with Denzel Dumfries on the verge of joining Real Madrid. Several Premier League clubs also monitoring the €50 million rated Italian. Athletic. Villa, Atletico Madrid, Borussia Dortmund interested in Club Bruges' Germany U21 striker Nicola Trasoldi following his campaign in Belgium. Matteo Moretto again. Ajax have opened talks to sign Real Madrid midfielder Dani Ceballos, who's a priority for them. Gazzetta. Juve weighing up a summer move for Bournemouth attacker Justin Kluivert, viewed as a potential alternative to Real Madrid's Brahim Diaz. Sky. Brighton and Hove Albion struck a verbal agreement with AIK for youngster Zadok Johanna. It's from Sky Germany. Also from Florian Plettenberg, Werder Bremen midfielder Jens Stage has informed the club of his desire to join Hoffenheim. And Nicola Schier one more time. Juve has met with Aston Villa keeper Emi Martinez's reps last week ahead of making a transfer bid. So we'll keep an eye out for those. That's gossip, rumor, and innuendo here this morning. Let me check and see, because my wrist was going berserk. And I'm trying to find out if why my wrist was going off so violently. Let's see if I can find out where the intel and the info is coming from. Okay, so let's see. So we have a Florida showdown tonight with Sporting Jacks. For those of you who are keeping an eye on what's going on in lower divisions. Also, let's see that. Let's see. Sweden's national team is going to have an open training for fans on the 9th. So that's going to be next Tuesday. That note we just got from our friends at FC Dallas. And no, it's like, you clear out 4. And it's like, no, I'm clearing you out for a reason, people. And we mentioned what's going on in USL League One. So I think as I sit here, USL, I got to get into that. Before we get out of here, USL has been very, very busy. Oklahoma City leaders have broken ground on the MAPS 4 multi-purpose stadium, 10,000-seat venue set to become home for the championship club in 2028. Also, the USL is including 5 additional clubs in 27's sanctioning with U.S. Soccer. Atletico Dallas for the USL Championship, scheduled to begin in March. And we've had Matt Valentine on the show. We may try to circle back with him as they get closer to March. So Atletico Dallas is set to jump into the championship next year. They're going to play their home matches at the Cotton Bowl, and they're also going to, according to the release, invest in a long-term presence through improvements at the Dallas Soccer Complex, developing a headquarters near Fair Park. USL League One has 4 new names attached. Sporting Cascades is going to be out of Eugene, Oregon. They're going to play at Civic Park. Then that's Bill Cornog, who is a part of Blue Crow Sports Group. Sporting Cascades, Port St. Lucie SC with Gustavo Suarez and Pepa Galimberti. They have a proposed 6,000-seat soccer-specific stadium that is going to serve as the centerpiece of a live-work-play development project in Port St. Lucie. Then Fort Lauderdale United FC is continuing their investment. They've done USL League 2. They're in the USLW League. And so chairman and founder Tommy Smith is going to be adding a men's side for Fort Lauderdale United. And then Thousand Oaks, California, Oak Sports Holdings is once again led by founder and CEO Mark Norzai. And that looks like with Ventura County, they might be pulling away from the MLS Next Pro involvement that is there and heading toward USL League One. And so that would create Southern California rivalry with AV Alta and so on. So those teams have been added to the 2027 application for sanctioning when it comes to the USL Championship, and U.S. Soccer continuing to sanction their leagues as well. So before we get out of here, let me check and see if I missed anything with our friend Ben Jacobs, who is running around about 9,000 miles an hour. And we will find out if we've missed anything internationally by staring at Ben. And let's see. So Newcastle have a long-standing interest in Atalanta defender Giorgio Scalvini. No recent contact yet. He's also on the radar of other clubs in Italy and Germany. Brighton also confirming that Jason Ato has left his role as sporting director with immediate effect. We mentioned the Ederson move. Understanding that West Ham have made an initial inquiry about Hibs midfielder Josh Mulligan. No bid yet, as West Ham are trying to figure out their outgoings first. Recently back from an ankle injury, attracting interest from England. Rasmus Højlund, the £38 million conditional obligation triggered, so he's staying with Napoli. Andre Onana planning to return to preseason with Manchester United. Trabzonspor exploring a deal to keep him. Nothing advanced. He's content to rejoin the squad in Manchester until his future is clarified. Manchester United want to sell as much as Onana wants to leave as well. Arsenal in talks to sign Jeremy Monga, the 16-year-old Leicester product. Could cost in excess of £10 million. Possible a transfer could go to a tribunal to determine a fee. And I believe that'll do it. So that is today. As I sit here and look at all of my sources, I'll go and check other information really quickly, see if there's anything I missed. And once again, the squad lists are out. If you are intrigued as to your favorite squad, they're out. You can go to FIFA's website and you can see what's going on there. So as I sit here and I'm scanning headlines, Jude Bellingham got the number 10 shirt for England. And let's see. I think we got it. Everton's interested in Hayden Hackney for £15 million, but obviously they're in a very long line. Brighton, Spurs, Forest, and Leeds are also interested as well. We mentioned Marco Silva leaving, and I think we're there. Okay. All right, that'll do it for today, and we'll be back at it again tomorrow. But remember tonight, well, we're going to make it right. It is Jason and Atlanta Soccer tonight. That is on 92.9 The Game and the Odyssey app. 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game on the audio side, Odyssey app on your device side, 92.9 The Game YouTube page for the entirety of the program. So you can catch it you can catch it over the air, you can catch it on YouTube. It is saved on the YouTube channel at 92.9 The Game after the fact. And you can go back and watch, have it on in the room. You can go and listen. And then once again, it goes to your favorite podcatchers after that. And so today you can listen to what happened yesterday on AST and on Stoppage Time on your favorite podcatchers going forward. And so what we'll try to do every day is we'll try to come up with a highlight from AST, and we'll play it for you just as a reminder of what's going on here in the very, very busy spring and summer of soccer. So once again, thanks to Dylan Butler. Thanks to all of y'all for hanging out with us as you do. So thank you, David. Thank you to Alex. Thanks, OG. And thank you, Ricky. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that might have jumped in this morning. I think that's it. So thanks to all of you who are watching, however you're consuming us. Set your notifications for everything here at SDH for not just the next 60 days or the next 57, but for all of the stuff going forward. So from all of us here to all of you there, thanks for hopping in. AST tonight, 10 o'clock, 92.9 The Game in the Odyssey app. We got some friendlies. 9 o'clock, we'll be keeping an eye on what's going on in Provo, Utah, with South Korea and El Salvador. So since it's the end of the show, that means one thing. I get to do this. Back at it again for us tomorrow morning, 9:05 Power Hour with Nino and Nico in hour number 2. And we'll keep you up to date with everything that's happening today. We'll catch up with Triple Espresso today. That'll be on the show again tomorrow. End of the show. That means I get to do this. Play it safe. We'll see you soon. Mucho plot, y'all.